do? Is she just recording minutes?
Um, yeah, Sarah's out of town and
Yeah.
she told me that Maria would be calling the roll and taking the minutes.
Okay. Well, I heard Maria speaking a minute ago.
I'm
So
sorry, I'm here trying to get it together so that we're on. I think we're live now, actually. It
Yes.
went. We're live.
Yeah, can you come on camera?
Yes. Uh, oh. All right, sorry. I normally
There
don't
we
have my
are.
control on. I apologize. Good
Hi,
afternoon, everyone.
Maria.
All right.
Yeah. Well,
Trying-
okay. Could you please call the roll?
Yes. Well, okay. Sarah Radenberg,
Here.
Jeff Fusco,
Here.
Maria Wilson, Acting Secretary, present. Patricia Wyatt,
You turned your sound off, Patricia.
Here.
There.
all right. Francie Lash, Jackie
Rashuti.
Present.
sorry, my apologies.
You're good.
Wanna mess with that. Brittany Robinson, Gabriel Forte,
Here.
Sandy Augusta,
Here.
and I believe that's all.
Okay. First order of business is for us to welcome our long-awaited and finally appointed new member, Sandy Augusta. Do you have anything you'd like to say to the commission? Your
Well,
commission?
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the tree commission. Yeah. I'll be an observer for a while, I'm sure. This is my first experience with anything related to the city.
Well, okay, but jump in if you have a thought, that's okay.
All right.
Um,
All right.
all right, there is a correction that needs to happen to the agenda, and I'm not quite sure how we do that, but, and it's a typo. We have the, wait a minute. Oh, in the first line, approval of minutes, it has us, no. Never mind. I could have sworn I saw that we had that we were meeting June 17th instead of July 17th, but we seem to be fine. Okay. Public education strategy. We had talked last meeting about putting some of the videos that Casey had provided onto the website. And I just went on the website and there doesn't seem to be any videos. There's material about planting and things like that, but I thought there were some videos that we were going to put on. Casey, do you know anything about that?
I don't know about putting videos on the website. I think that was something that I had maybe suggested for the group to consider. I can't remember if I was at the last meeting, but I think I had shared via email with you, Sarah, some content and some videos that I had worked with our communications team to develop that are tree related. And I had thought, the group the commission here might consider whether or not the website is a good place for them to share that, or just give some thought to, how you might utilize that information and help kind of spread the good word of trees with the community.
Okay. It seems to me, and if it's not in the minutes, then we probably didn't do it. But it seems to me we talked about it and thought it would be a good idea to get that on our website. And the mechanics of that, I'm not clear on. I thought Sarah said she was going to talk to Stephanie and get that on our website, but
Okay, I can follow up on that then. And by videos, we did communications produced like a 3-part how to plant a tree video, essentially.
Right.
So that walks you through how, how you choose a site, how you actually plant the tree, and then how you care for it after. Are those the 3 videos you mean, Sarah?
yeah, on the website, there is like a little card with 4 steps on planting a tree, and they're each about 2.5 lines. So it's very, very basic. And I think a video would be well used. We want to,
Okay, yeah, okay, so that's I see the PDF you mean. Yes, I worked with communications on that. Matt Knoll and Leah Heiser helped as well. So I'll follow up with communications on how we get those videos on the website if we can. I think they were originally produced and put on social media platforms. So I also don't really know the technical way that can exist on the Tree Commission website, but I'll follow up with our comms director and see what we can do there.
okey doke.
Good night.
So, yes, Jeff.
Thank you. I have an idea. Casey, would you mind checking while you're doing that? If you don't mind, perhaps for for the website there, we have a QR code that we could push out in many different ways, perhaps, that people could, just use their phone to get to the website. It's a lot easier than pushing in all those all those numbers and letters and whatever else you got to put in. Just a QR code, and we could push that out, perhaps.
Okay, so to promote the Tree Commission's website, maybe we can push that out on socials for instance.
Mhm.
Okay, I can talk with comms about that too.
Cool. If you need any help, Casey, let me know. Happy to help. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'm just kind of thinking, and I have to talk with comms about this too, but if you're kind of introducing, this might be part of a larger sort of education opportunity, Sarah, but if you're sort of like introducing through the city's social channels, like here's the Tree Commission website, just an idea I'm having. I'm not a social media expert, but if you want to do like an introduction of all the members, to spotlight, we have a new team here on the commission. And so in addition to kind of spotlighting the website, you might kind of introduce the commission members over social as well, if that's appealing.
Okay, that would require a little bit of filming and things like that, which would be
Possibly, or maybe
Just
it's maybe it's a still photo and sort of like some fun details on the commission members. We can work it out, but if that's of interest, I can raise it with our comms team as well.
well, it would be good to put faces to names. If we want to educate the public, I suppose we should let them know who's trying to educate them.
And it seems like perhaps recommending, with all respect, maybe like a small team from within the commission that could help develop some kind of a content and a strategy in terms of, I know these days you can enter or you can put social media together, like if you have an hour, couple hours, and you send it out on certain dates. And like, for example, we were talking about that video that was how to plant a tree, etc. Perhaps what can be done is like like Monday we're going to put this out, look for us next Monday to tell you phase 2 or whatever. I don't know how that all would work, but maybe a small team within the commission. I don't know if it's not a quorum, John, would that be okay? And they would come back to the commission with recommendations.
Yeah, I think you're reading my mind, Jeff. So long as it's a group of 4 at the max, that's, thinking of the things that we can post, strategizing. I would recommend probably best practice would be to bring those strategies or those plans to the whole commission, vote upon them affirmatively when you have a quorum in a public meeting, and then moving forward and scheduling the social media posts pursuant to the motion passed in open meeting. But yeah, I think that's totally fine.
Thank you, Jen. Yeah, and this is one of our core missions is the education piece. So it seems, timely and there's a path. And so,
Yeah, it's definitely pursuant to the official duties of this body, so I see no problem with that, so long as we're, not working within a quorum.
thank
Okay.
you.
Volunteers? Gabe?
We'll say
Yeah, so I have a question kind of related to what we're talking about, the social media post. Are we talking about having like about us page or like sub page within like our tree commission page on the City of Akron's website that just has like a short bio about like each member? Or are we talking about creating like a series of very small videos that say, hi, I'm Gabe Forte. I'm a tree commission member and such and such and such and such about me. Like, what, I guess which one of those two are we looking to do, or are we planning as we're talking about this? Because if we're talking about like a brief about us thing, I think that's a very easy and a short lift. Not that a video isn't, a video might be more fun, but I think there's more potential challenges with the video when you're talking about maybe a link, maybe breaking at one point in time, or just scrounging some of the stuff up and maybe doing some of the initial additional work for that. So I guess that's what I'm curious about. What were we mentioning or what were we thinking about when we're talking about having, this about us section on like a social media page or on the city's page itself?
Okay, yeah, I think keep it simple. Kiss
And
words.
Yeah, I agree. And I would, I was thinking, the city has a social media channel. The Tree Commission doesn't. And I wouldn't say that the Tree Commission website, like any of the commission websites, are sort of like highly visited for, what's new. So I think getting information about you, still images, little fun descriptions of who's on the commission, plus to Jeff's idea, a broader sort of tree education campaign, getting sort of schedule together of like, why don't we do some introductions? Then let's do some stuff on the benefits of trees, just pulling a team together to kind of map out that plan. And then I'm happy to help, and I can work with communications to help make that possible for y'all.
Okay.
Okay. No, that's great. Thank you very much, Casey, for that clarification. Yeah, that's something that I guess on that note, I would be more than willing to work on that subcommittee to help out with that. With some other organizations that I've been with, that's, kind of a general thing as far as just creating like a brief bio about yourself as a member. As members that are working on behalf of the public, I think it's something that we should be doing anyways. So yeah, I'm all for it. So if there's anybody else that wants to work with that, John, anybody else in legal, I'm not sure if we have to discuss that right now as far as the formation of that team. If we don't, just message me, email me, text me, whatever afterwards, and we can go over some of those logistics. But yeah, I'm all for that.
I don't think there would be a problem with choosing those 4 people. And then we can set up the meeting later. But I think it would be good to have the 4 of us, whoever those 4 are, picked here so people who watch the meeting will know that there are people working on this.
I definitely would like to help with that. I know I was working on the flyers before we kind of moved into a different direction with that. So I'd be happy to help with the social media content calendar.
Okay. So we have Jeff, Gabe, Brittany, and I guess as chair, I probably should have a hand in that. So that's our 4.
If anyone else wants to step up, that's fine too. And I'm happy to step back.
Well,
If
you're
not,
part of,
I'm happy to help.
yeah, you've been part of the tree commission since before it existed. So, there's a lot of background that you would bring to that. Everybody good with that?
Could I add something?
Please do.
I'm not sure how to, again, I don't know the procedure for doing all of this. As an outsider at this point, who doesn't search city business online at all, I have settled on seeing what the mayor posts every day, and I'm sure he's got a staff that does it for him. But I'm wondering if you might want to take what you're what you started with and try to personalize what your presentation a little bit, so that, oh, that person looks approachable. Maybe I'll follow this and see what they're, they look interested in what they're doing. Maybe I'll follow them. So if there's any way to get some messaging out there without people having to search for you, I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that would work.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm wondering, is it possible to have your own Facebook page or not? Or do you think
That's
it's too
social
much
media,
work
and
for
that goes
someone
through the
to-
communications office.
Yeah.
It's kind of out of our hands. Casey would be our liaison on that.
I see.
Yeah, it's on, so, and John, you can correct me from a law perspective, because I know there's a ton of rules that we have to follow on social media. I don't believe, and I did a little bit asking around with the other commissions, I don't believe any of the other boards and commissions have their own social media. And so that's just not something that we've done, and it would come along with, probably a long process to figure out if that could be done, and then rules for you all to learn. So I think that that's a little complicated. I also think strategically, you would be starting with 0 followers, very much to your point, Sandy, no built-in audience, versus what we would be leveraging here is the city of Akron's, social channels, which are heavily followed. Sandy, if you're following, then like that's the platform that we could leverage to get the word out about the tree commission, of trees generally. And I think to your point about personalizing, that's why I was suggesting, like, the first thing could be, here's our website, and here's us, here are the members. And then you get into some content about the benefits of trees or whatever y'all, are thinking you'd like to do.
Yes, I like that.
All right. We don't need to vote on who those 4 members are going to be. Okay.
No, you don't.
So,
I would
let's
just
look-
advise that when those members meet, that you essentially you're making a plan of what you want to do, and then you bring that plan to the next meeting, or schedule a special meeting before the August meeting to discuss that if you would like to do that. I just want to make sure that we have any decisions made about implementing some kind of strategy developed by a smaller group be decided upon in open meeting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Jeff, Gabe, and Brittany, I'll send out an email maybe sometime later this afternoon, just so we can get an idea of when we might be available. Does that work for you? And
Yeah,
I think we could
works
do
for
this
me.
over Zoom. Should be easy.
And Casey will be there, right?
I'm happy to help. Yeah, I have some vacation coming up. So I can send you those dates, Sarah, but I'm
Okay.
happy to make myself available to support.
Okay,
Thank
great,
you.
great. Okay. Public education. John, do you have anything for us on rules?
Yeah, real brief. So I have a draft of the rules of procedure and organization. Sarah Bradenberg, I'm going to find a time within the week to clear up just 2 points with you, and then I'm going to send it out to the group. Please don't respond to my email. Look at the document, take notes, and we can workshop the document at the next meeting. We can make real-time amendments to it then. And if it's ready, and if we can make all those changes within one meeting, then you all can vote to adopt these rules of procedure at the August meeting, and they will be yours and they will be official. Are there any
Okay.
questions?
Okay. And the master tree planting plan. I think that had to go to council, if I'm remembering correctly.
That is correct, yes. And Jeff and I worked on it. Jeff and council passed it. So now the master tree planting plan is officially the master tree planting plan.
Okay, good
Yes.
to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. We're getting things off our agenda. Okay, on to new business. Matt, I believe this is where you come in, the August tree planting plans. Autumn.
Sure. So the at the Tree Commission Academy, they had a list of things that they recommended we discuss on our monthly meetings. So I
Okay,
figured I'd add those to the agenda if they weren't already discussed. I'm not sure how much there is to do, and there's almost nothing that the Tree Commission has to do for most of these things, but I've got the list right here. Maybe I can share my screen. Am I allowed to do that? I forget. It's been a long time
yeah.
since I've shared my screen, so I actually can't remember how to do it. Does anybody know where that button's at?
The green
Should be
button
between
on the bottom
React
in
and
the
AI.
center.
What's that, John?
There's a green button on the
There it
bottom of your
is.
screen in the center. It says share. You'll click that.
Gotcha. All right. So these are the things that they recommend we talk about. Um, a lot of this stuff is really nothing that the tree commission can help out with, but I think it's good to
Yeah.
just let you know what's going on right now at the city and what we're doing for trees. Right now, we're doing autumn planting arrangements. So I'm going out there and I'm finding out which streets we can plant on, where the trees are going to go, and marking the curbs at those locations. So that's typically me and John Hilkert. I think he's out there still right now, marking some curbs, but it's marked with like a little green mark. If people are wondering what that is, that green mark represents where a tree is going to be planted. Sewer also uses a green mark, so it can get a little confusing. Um, but if it's like just one little line on the curb, that's most likely a tree. So that's what's going on right now. Some of the things that prevent us from putting a tree there would be like communication lines, service drops to houses, things like that. Proximity to street signs, proximity to stop signs, fire hydrants, intersections, driveways. So all those things prevent us from planting trees at certain spots. Right now, we're just making sure that none of those things conflict with where we plan on putting them. And that's about as far as we've gotten now. I so we almost have a list of addresses ready. And those people will all get a letter in the mail that lets them know when we plan on planting their tree and when the objection hearing will be if we're going to have one. So with the master tree planting plan as part of the ordinance, are we able to host some sort of objection hearing 1 month or have a special meeting for an objection, or are there still barriers to doing that?
John's gonna have to, my experience when we did uh, hear objections was that we held a public hearing within our regular commission meeting for those people who wanted to talk to us about their objection. And then we would take a vote and make a recommendation to the service director's office. So what that would involve, I guess, is we need to say in the letter by when they need to object if they want to do that, which is basic. Then it gets them on the list, and we don't have to hear it within 7 days or something like that. We can do that for the next meeting.
Yeah, so to address the question, I think it was about how we would do this within a meeting. You could on the agenda put hearing for objections to tree plantings and have it part of a regular monthly meeting. You could schedule a special meeting for it. I think that's probably what I would recommend. That way folks don't have to sit through and wait for us to do our normal business and then get to the hearing later on. Regarding the letter, regarding what Sarah just said, you can do that. You can put the date by which one would need to object. But I think it's probably also sufficient to just cite the section of the code where it contains that language. It's It's the law. People are able to, if you give them the section, go out there and find it and act accordingly. And it has all the language as it is. Like, we're not paraphrasing it, essentially, and getting ourselves into trouble.
Would that paragraph from the law need to go on the letter that Matt sends out?
It could. I would, Matt, I can connect with you and review that letter if you'd like.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we reviewed this letter already.
Yeah, I think so too. I wasn't sure if you had made amendments to it in the meantime.
I think I'm gonna make a few. So we'll go over it again, make sure I didn't mess it up. And then we'll look at the language and maybe add some of these things. The thing that I'm most concerned about is the date of this objection hearing. So I'm gonna
Yeah, Matt, I don't think we need to disclose a date of a hearing. I think we can schedule a hearing after we get the objection. I think that would be appropriate. But
okay.
we can connect and work through this.
Okay.
By when do these letters need to go out, Matt? Do you have an
So
idea?
we plant in October,
Okay.
and probably middle of October is when we're going to start the fall planting. So I'd like to get the letters out as soon as possible. I just want to make sure everything is good to go before
Okay.
I, print 900 something letters. So I'd probably like to send them out in August and have the meeting in September,
Okay.
right? I feel like that makes sense.
Mhm.
That'll give us enough time to change anything that needs to be changed before the trees get planted. Yeah.
And if I
Okay.
could recommend, I like John's idea about a special meeting versus a typical, or monthly meeting. I like the idea of a special one just expressly for that purpose. And then, and if it would be like before the September one, possibly, because, typically we're able to make decisions, I think, if I remember correctly, on that meeting. But in case we have to kick the can and do research, somebody wants to drive by it, whatever the case is, that gives, Matt a little bit more time and us a little bit more time to make a decision. So it's not, I think that's good.
Yeah. So it sounds like the first week of September then. I think we've pretty much narrowed it down to the first week of September. So I like that. That's close enough for me for now.
Okay. Okay.
Can I, Matt, I guess I have one follow-up question for you, and then I also have a recommendation. The clarification question, Matt, is you mentioned the green mark, and then the utility is kind of double check to make sure there's not a conflict. When it's marked green, does that mean you still have to check for a utilities conflict? Or when it's marked green, does that mean you already checked and it's good to go? I'm just kind of curious about the order of those things. Does that make sense?
The green is when it's marked green, that's the last time we visit the site until the tree is planted, and then it'll get planted either by an employee or a contractor of mine. And then after that, I'll inspect the tree for health. So it's that mark it means we're good to go.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I won't be back there again until I check the tree make sure it's alive.
Okay. And then my suggestion to y'all, and Jeff, I would ask for your perspective on this as a council person. I think, like, Matt, you have such good information about what's coming, and I think council sometimes gets questions about, like, when are trees being planted, what trees are being planted. I wonder if I could help you with a one pager that we could kind of get council kind of prepped, and the commission could maybe help with that too. And I think that that information could do double duty. I'm not a social media expert, but for the tree commission sort of like plan for education, hey, let's get excited about the fall plantings. These are the trees we're going to be planting. These are the areas we're focused planting trees, you know, this time around. Here's the information when you should expect your letter. I just think we have a lot of good information that is very education focused. And anyway, I just want to throw that out there for consideration.
I
Yeah.
agree, Casey. As soon as Matt, you were mentioning the green paint, I was thinking, I see the, you know, that made it clicked for me. So I can imagine like that, you know, popping up in a 15-second reel, you know, saying, have you seen these green marks? That means trees are coming, or, you know, whatever cute thing that we come up with. I see a great opportunity. Thank you, Casey, for bringing that, because you've got my wheels over here turning now.
Okay.
Just in a word, like what their the Beacon Journal's recent thing about, you know, one word to describe Akron, one word to describe this meeting is just brilliant. I think it's all these ideas are perfect. Thank you all.
Okay.
So a lot of times people ask me what trees I'm planting, and I just tell them, you know, we got 127 approved trees, but it's usually not 127 different species in each planting season. So if anybody wants like a more detailed list of exactly which ones I'm planting, like which ones I've picked out for this planting season, it changes, you know, as I create the planting plan, but it'll be ready in a couple weeks and I can give you that list so you know exactly which trees are going to be planted this fall, and you have a better answer to give people when they ask you what trees we're planting. In fact, before I go to the next board meeting, if we get one on the calendar, I'll probably print off that list because somebody always asks, what trees are we planting?
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That might be something also, Casey, that we could do.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that you know, let's send a one pager to council so they have good information. Let's, you know, Matt, I like your idea of bringing that directly to ward meetings, hard copies. And I think, you know, socials for folks who maybe aren't showing up at ward meetings but are clued in to what the city's doing on social media. I think multiple channels is good, right? Getting the word out
Yeah.
in several different ways.
Yeah. Well, all right. It says here, and I'm not quite sure, next year's budget recommendations. Matt, you didn't seem to think that that's something and I don't think it is either. I don't think we determine your budget. We don't have anything to do with it. I'm not quite sure why it's on the agenda.
Yeah. God, maybe there was something we're going to talk about. It is on the list that I'm looking at for June and July. It's what the Tree Commission Academy recommends we talk about. But right, I agree. I don't think it's something for one of these meetings. So I can talk to one of those foresters, you know,
Okay.
Joe Meglin would be easy to talk to, and I can ask him why he has that on here.
Okay.
But this isn't really anything that the tree commission can help with, I don't think. I mean, I can talk about, you know, what, you know, our budget right now. It consists of a combination of trimming, removals, and planting. It is lacking watering. That's something that the tree commission recommends that we do on a more regular basis is water and mulch. So those are two things that I'm struggling to incorporate into the budget and get done. But besides that, like, you know, it's working really well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The upcoming forestry events, are those things from ODNR?
Yeah, and I do not think they have any sort of date right now. I mean, you can always Google it and find out. But I did they have a fall um like seminar or convention. It's like a
Yeah.
1 day thing with 3 or 4 speakers.
Yeah.
And last year it was down in Canton. I think it was Welsh College. Is that a thing?
Walsh.
Walsh. Yep. I think
Um,
that's where it was hosted last year. And I recommend we all go. I will find out what day that's going to be. I think it'll be sometime in October. So we got time to sign up for that.
yeah,
So again, I don't
yeah.
know why that's on here for this month, but the tree commission recommends we start talking about it. So maybe put that on your calendars for sometime in October. I'll keep you posted on the exact day and see if we can get people signed up for that.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, Maria, did anybody ask to speak to the commission?
We had no request to speak to the commission today.
Okay. Okay. Anybody have anything for the good of the order?
Motion to adjourn?
Okay.
Second.
See you next month.
Thank you,
You
Sarah.
need to vote. You need to vote on your motion to adjourn.
Thank you, John.
All right, so we had a second.
I make a motion to vote.
Okay. I don't think we've ever voted on adjournment before, but Maria, would you like to call the roll?
You're on mute.
You're muted.
Oh, Sarah.
Sarah Bradenberg,
Yes.
Jeff Fusco,
Aye.
Patricia Wyatt,
Aye.
Jackie Ricciuti.
I think she left.
Oh, okay. Brittany Robinson.
She might have left too.
All right.
No,
Gabriel
she's here.
Forte.
She's here. I thought she mouthed aye, but I didn't hear anything come out. I don't want to speak for her too much though. Is that
Oh,
an
she's
aye?
there. I don't see it. Okay. Yes.
Brittany Robinson.
You're not,
Are you on
not
mute?
coming through.
Maybe she's on mute. Gabriel Forte.
Aye.
All right. Sandy Augusta.
Aye.
I believe that is
Okay.
every-
I think we've got at least 5
Yeah.
votes for adjournment.
The ayes have it.
Okay. See you all next month. Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Have a
you.
good summer.
Thank you.
Bye.